We've all had those little and big missteps in our lives. What if they weren't right or wrong? What if they're just choices on the way to consciousness? Welcome to the Missteps of Consciousness TV show with Hayden and Julie.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta dance.
Yeah.
These two don't really walk with it. So do you see what I call a bing bing? Yeah.
And they just sleep the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, they have those roomies and so do
I was just on that TV show for like 20 minutes or so.
Welcome! Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome to Missteps TV show. And we are here. Well, I'm going to say Noosa, but it's not actually Noosa. And this is our first live show. So it's quite exciting, Hayden. And we have got Viv, who I know quite well and who is talk to the animal facilitator, who's just amazing. And we've got these two amazing dogs today. We've got Cooper, and at the back, you'll see in a little later, is Lucy. So welcome, Viv.
Thank you.
Welcome
for
coming on the show.
inviting me.
And welcome being the first one on our live show.
Oh, thank you.
Exciting. Really
Thank you for
exciting.
asking.
Our very first victim.
Should I be scared? We
No.
are in the country.
That is in the country.
Oh,
Let's not go there.
So today, we're going to be talking about Lucy, and we're going to be talking about Cooper, and a little bit the history, a little bit about like where they come from, how they actually came into your care, and looking after them. And what I really like to know is their future. So tell us a little bit about this guy. This guy's amazing.
So this is Cooper. He's about 3 years old, and he came to us through a group called Friends of the Hound, and their role has been to rescue greyhounds from the racing industry or a variety of backgrounds where they have the opportunity to be assessed, rehabilitated, and then rehomed permanently to go to a permanent family. So Cooper's a little bit different. His story, most of the dogs that we fostered so far, so my husband and I foster these dogs, which means we give them a temporary home, we introduce them to domestic life. So these guys have, lived in cages or been exposed to the race. Most of them have been exposed to the racing industry.
Yeah.
So they've lived in cages, often with, 20, 30, 40 dogs.
Yeah.
Often in not very nice backgrounds and being treated nicely and what they're fed, etc. But he's a bit different because he arrived from a medical lab, so he'd been experimented on. We don't get a great deal of the history of these dogs, which I think is a good thing, because people can tend to make it significant and make it wrong and terrible, and it's just, we're in an age where people still do experiments on animals, whether it's for the beauty industry or for medical reasons or whatever, and he was one of these dogs. So he was, from what we know, he was in a cage for probably 18 months of his life, from the age of 6 months old as a puppy.
Yeah. And how long have you had him for?
It's a year today.
Oh,
It's his
wow.
anniversary.
Happy birthday.
You can even that.
And so he came to us 12 months ago. He was an absolute basket case.
Yeah.
He was bald under here, he had no hair. He was anxious, he was drooling all the time, he was trembling, his eyes, he was just gone. His eyes were on stalks the whole time.
He was
and
not here.
Definitely not here,
Yeah.
not in his body. Didn't trust anybody, which is understandable.
So what's different now than 12 months? So what have you done, like, within the 12 months for him to, be like this now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few key turning points for him. my husband was home for probably the first 5 or 6 months of him being here. So he was with him. He spent time with him every day, just being with him, just sitting doing this. And to start with, you couldn't get near him. He didn't trust. He was very nervous. He would stand and try and run away and hide and find a corner. So we also, the biggest difference I've seen for all the dogs that we take, we run bars. As soon as we get a new dog in, we run bars.
Yeah.
And they'll either be in the lounge room.
So people don't know what bars is. It's the access consciousness body process. It's called bars. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like a defrag of all the stuff that you have.
Yeah.
And animals have stuff, and these guys have a lot of stuff when they turn up. So we will run bars on each other, and the dogs will either come and lay at the bottom of the massage table, or they'll be somewhere really, really close.
Yeah.
And the next morning, it is absolutely astonishing to see the change, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Lucy.
Yeah.
But so they've had the bars. We have some abuse CDs.
Okay.
There are a couple of audio CDs that are about clearing the issues of abuse. So it's a process of verbal clearing. So we put those on for the first 24 hours, 48 hours that they're here, just subliminally, like really quietly in the background.
And that's really assisted.
Yep.
Yeah.
And allowing them to be a dog again, like just letting them run around and sniff. I mean, we're on nearly 3 acres here, so generally when the dogs get here, it's like, whoa, what's all this space? And they tend to come to the car because I think somewhere it reminds them of their cage in a strange way. The cage represented some kind of space, and it was their own zone.
Yeah.
So they often love to come to the car. Yeah.
How much imprinting have they had upon them of what is theirs is literally only that little bit.
Yeah, that space. Yeah. And kindness. Just absolute allowance. So, you know, I mean, we've had dogs have diarrhea in the house. We've had a dog really freak out and chew the furniture. And it's not, we never tell them off. We're never harsh with them. We're just total allowance. They don't know. They've never...
Total allowance.
Yeah. They've never been in a domestic situation. They've never been in a house before. They've never been... I mean, the only time they've been in a car is probably going to the racetrack, which would be a trailer. They're being introduced to domestic life, whether it's they don't know how to, a lot of them don't know how to walk on polished floors. They freak out, you know, they panic. Yeah. Walking upstairs, learning to walk upstairs.
So they're learning, they're like relearning everything over again.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of them have come with food issues. Because I would say if they're in a pack or whatever, they've had to fight for their food. So there's every dog we've had has had issues around feeding. Yeah. We had to poach.
And what about aggression? Like, you know, have you noticed any aggression?
Are you aggressive, Cooper?
Oh.
No. No, never.
Because a lot of people say, you know, greyhounds are very aggressive. Is that a myth?
I think it's a misconception. I think part of what people see is they race with muzzles, and when they go to the muzzles, when they're out in public, the picture they're given is that, my God, these dogs must be vicious because they wear muzzles. Yeah. What I understand of them wearing muzzles is their skin is actually very, very thin. Lucy's skin, their skin's very thin and they don't have much fur. So when they're racing, they get so adrenalized that they nip at each other, and it's very easy for them to tear the skin.
Oh, okay.
So
that's interesting.
These are some of the gentlest, most kindest dogs. As a breed, they are very gentle. That would be the word I would use for them. Very, very gentle.
They're melting, like, because I know what you're talking about with these points of views. Because you'd see a greyhound, they're sort of. They can be terrifying at times just by looking at them. But these guys are just total space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you say something like that, that's what people see it. It's not actually what they are. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I think the other dog that we have, Lucy, she just loves people. So when we're out walking, we generally have an hour for a walk and an hour for stopping and chatting to people. Yeah. The great thing is these guys being adopted, and all the other greyhounds that are being adopted, become ambassadors for the breed. They become ambassadors for people's awareness to go, wow, look at these dogs. They're elegant creatures. They're very genteel. They're very regal. You know how they walk, and they're just...
Well, you say elegant. Like, I've been spending nearly a half an hour with Cooper now, and he is just like, he's an allowance. But he is elegant. Like the way his body is just, beautiful.
Yeah.
These dogs.
Yeah.
Can we meet Lucy? Can we bring Lucy's in the back of
I'll
the
see if
car?
I can
And
encourage
everyone,
her.
we're shooting in the back of the car where Cooper is so enjoying our company.
Yeah.
So we're going to meet Lucy now.
Well, maybe.
Oh, if we can get Lucy
She
out.
is totally melted.
So we're
Dogs
going to
have
get
choice as
Lucy,
well.
and Viv's going to talk about a little bit about, with
She's
Lucy.
not going anywhere.
She's not coming, or she's coming.
Come on, Puppet.
She's camera shy. So.
No, she doesn't. Oh, she might. Come on. Good girl.
Here's
Ah.
Lucy, everyone. We're meeting Lucy. Hi,
Hi.
Lucy.
Hey, Lucy.
So she's, like people.
Yeah. I'll scooch over, give you a bit
Okay,
of space.
like people, each dog has a totally different personality. So when she arrived, she's still, you can see she's very, you can see her ribs, you can see her back. When she arrived, you could see every vertebra on her back. So these dogs arrive in any state of...
Not the best states.
Not the best state.
Not,
They've got hair missing. We've had dogs
not
with
the best states.
gravel embedded in them.
Oh.
But yeah, they get fed exceptionally good food here, and the 5-star resort, the Greyhound 5-star resort.
Come to Viv.
Yes, she was raced. She had, so when you talk about aggression, Julie, they're not aggressive towards people. Which, when I think about the abuse that these guys have been through, or how people have treated them and their association to people, it's that they've never, ever, ever showed any aggression, any unkindness. They've never once. And we've had probably 10 different greyhounds through. She came with the label of fear aggression. So she's probably been one of the dogs that's at the bottom of the ladder in the pack. Yeah. So she had been attacked a lot, and so she would have a few issues with other dogs walking towards her. Even now, if a dog comes straight to her face, she'll growl. But the changes in these dogs, is just... I think they know they're in a totally different realm now. They're in a totally different space. And when you think that so many dogs don't get adopted, they don't get fostered.
So they know they're safe. They know they feel like, they're in would you call it a healthy environment now? Yeah,
they're in an environment where they can just explore themselves, and it's every day you see a little bit more of their personality coming out, their own unique character, and they're just, she will take pats and cuddles all day. She often makes, when we're walking them out in public, she will just trot, 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 and then she'll suddenly make a beeline to somebody, and she just comes straight across them and stands in front of them and insists on a cuddle. So she's a very, very sweet, very, very gentle nature. Cooper's a bit more independent. I think he's had to kind of dig a bit deeper with his own life to find resolve in himself.
Yeah.
And the future for these guys is incredible. We adopted Cooper, so he's here permanently. He's formed a very strong bond with my husband and made it very clear that he didn't want anybody else to have him. So he chose us.
Smart dog.
Yes. And he's...
So it's, when you say that, it's like these dogs actually knew to actually choose you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I do say that with animals. They, animals actually choose their owners. We always say it's the other way around.
Yeah. And the fact that him particularly managed to come to us, I don't know how many foster people that Friends of the Hound have. Yeah. So what happens is when they rescue a dog, they spend a few days with it or a week with it, assessing their personality and working out, they would be great to go with these people, or they choose. Yeah. But it was very clear from day one that Cooper was coming to us. He was with another foster family for about a month who had 3 other greyhounds. And I think he just couldn't cope with the extra greyhounds. It was too much for him. So they were fantastic. They realised that they weren't actually helping him and that he needed more one-on-one time. And he found his way to us, which, when you look at what I do for a living, I work with animals. And he's going to be very much part of the book that I'm writing. So he's given me so much new information to facilitate other people with their animals as well, because he's had such a unique background.
So would you say he inspires you?
Absolutely. Every day. Every day.
I mean, inspires me of
Yeah.
the allowance of he is with me, the touch. I mean, look, when I got here, I was really grumpy. I was, and now, like, they've got this ease about them. They've got this real peace, and just being around them, you just feel like your body, like I know even my body has actually relaxed.
Yeah.
They've got no judgment of you. Like,
Yeah. He's
no judgment. That's really cool.
Yeah, he is. And it's interesting when we're out walking because over time, bear in mind, he didn't trust anybody. He wouldn't let anybody near him. And over the 12 months we've had him, he's getting a lot more comfortable with people just being in his company. He'll come up and he'll sniff people, and before he would disappear, he would go to the darkest part of the house and hide and just shake.
yeah.
And Lucy, when we first had her, for the first 4 days, she just stood and trembled, had her head down at the ground and just looked at the floor and didn't dare move. And now she's running up to people and, can I share my love?
The friendliest dog
Yeah,
ever.
she is the friendliest dog.
So, anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
And the transformation the contribution they've been to my husband and I too, it's just, we've lost animals, obviously they die. And I think when an animal dies, it just leaves, they facilitate healing on a totally different level. I think when an animal dies, I think we love unconditionally, we love with our whole being.
Yeah.
We don't have stuff so much with dogs that we do with people. And when these guys come into your life and they slowly let you in and they slowly let you be a bit more intimate with them, and they're literally letting you into their world, it transforms you, because it's like, my God, you're willing to trust somebody again after what's happened to you.
Yeah.
We could learn a lot from animals, a hell of a lot, and they get over stuff really quickly. I mean,
I think it's amazing. That's what Cooper is showing me. In the last couple of days, I've been going through a bit of stuff, and he just shows, you can get over it straight away. So what a gift. Hey, Viv, can you talk a little bit more about, like, the healing part of them? As I've heard, like, dogs can be healers.
Yes.
Can you talk, a bit more about that?
Again, just what I was saying about Cooper with his journey of letting people in and being more confident. We've had a friend coming round to the house pretty much every week the whole time Cooper's been here. Week after week after week after week, he would disappear. And then just suddenly one day, the friend came in, had his cup of tea, and he just slowly walked up to him and just gave himself to this friend. And this guy's a dog person.
Yeah.
The change in him, just that, still makes me cry. And Lucy's, because Lucy is very tactile, I think science has proven, interesting point of view, that when you stroke an animal, when you touch something soft or whatever, it releases a similar, or when you look at a picture of a dog or be with a dog, it releases similar endorphins in your body. So
no, that is true, because I know when I walked in here, and now I'm like a marshmallow. So,
and the other thing with Lucy is she knows if there's something going on with you, whether you're stressed or you're upset or you've got something going on with your body, she just knows to come up and she'll come up and she'll just lean on you.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend come who'd recently had an operation on her ankle. This was with only a few weeks of us having her, and she came in the house, my friend, and she sat down, and Lucy literally walked straight up to her, laid down, and then put her paw right on the point on the leg, and just lay there.
I'm going to give you a gift.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, and when we're out walking, she doesn't go up to everybody. She'll just stand there, and all of a sudden, she literally just goes, makes a beeline to somebody and goes.
Basically what you force into something, and it's just your instant response to a certain thing. Like, you see a car, you got to dodge out of the way or something like that.
So it's like an autoresponder, or something that, so something they're so used to doing, so like patterns and habits.
Yeah, so for instance, what you said earlier about the muzzle. People see greyhounds with muzzle on. The imprinting is, oh my God, muzzle dangerous. Muzzle dangerous, savage.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think the imprinting is more when something is constantly projected at a person or an animal.
So all
and
the projections
yeah.
are about with the dogs.
Yeah.
So and then their expectation of what these dogs are about too. Yeah, that's really cool.
Do you want to be on TV? Oh, no. Cuddles. Have you got her in there, Henry?
Got her in there.
See?
Hey, little Miss Lucy Loves. I can't remember what we're talking about now.
Yeah, we're just talking about the future.
The future of these guys.
What holds
So
the future of these
so
guys?
Cooper has just been starting to go off lead. He's beginning to look for Ross.
Yeah.
And so that whole dynamic of wanting to run away and hide and the association he's had to people is totally transforming for him. He's now being willing to look for Ross and trust Ross. And the freedom for him to go on the beach and be off lead for us is, it's like, wow, that's taken the relationship to a whole other level. Every day it's probably like parents raising teenagers. It's like, oh my God, are they going to come back okay? Is he going to disappear? Or
Can they go run away and party without us?
Yeah. And for Lucy, she is still waiting for her forever home. I know. We discussed last night the possibility of adopting her. So she's been here since January and it's now December, almost December. So she's made it very, very clear that she wants to stay here. Don't you, sweetheart?
Oh, and Cooper.
Yes.
Cooper just
And these two, they have each other's back.
Yeah.
They look for each other. And a number of times she's gone to help me because he gets really excitable and a little bit out of control. He jumps and barks and he's quite, if you didn't know him, you'd be quite, oh God, is he going to bite me? Because he just gets so excited. He's just so into life. And occasionally she'll just settle him down for me. Yeah. When he's not listening to me, she'll just step up and just settle him down. And it's amazing to watch how we work together.
They have a connection to each other. That's just gorgeous.
Definitely. And apparently greyhounds recognise greyhounds. When we're out walking on the river, there's all these other dogs and they're like, not interested. And then when they see another greyhound, it's like,
oh my God!
Greyhound alert, greyhound alert. So they do have a very strong connection. And something interesting that I heard the other day is, how we have blood groups for people and how we have different blood groups. Apparently dogs... obviously they need transfusions and blood and what have you, and because the greyhound's blood is compatible across all breeds, so one of the things that they do with the dogs is they bleed them for, like we have blood donation buses that travel around, so they use greyhound blood. And I that piece of information fascinated me. I went, wow, if you think back to the Egyptian times, the hieroglyphics, they've actually got greyhounds, or the shape of greyhounds, back then. Yeah. So I think their history is quite interesting. So the future for Lucy, what else is possible? And part of the reason for us deliberating about whether we adopt her is it means that we can't foster anymore. Because for us, 2 dogs is enough. Yeah. Transport wise and walking them and logistics and feeding. And so we've loved rehabilitating them and seeing them go to a new home. I've used a lot of the access consciousness tools to help that process. Yeah,
I was going to ask, I noticed putting my hand on Cooper and just being a certain energy, I noticed he's used to the body processes. So, so you've worked on the different body processes. Yes. And that's just hands-on positions, like some what's the one
zero sum of trauma. Yeah. And Hayden, something that you asked earlier was you were mentioning about Cooper not being here. Just when we first got him, he was out of his body. And I think for anybody that's suffered, they've experienced abuse or trauma of any description. Yeah. They leave their bodies. Yeah. And for him, he was not in his body at all.
And that's really interesting you say that, because even, animals and people do that, because I know, I went through a lot of abuse, and it's only been really recent I've had that connection now with my body, and I'm actually in my body. Yeah. And that might sound strange, and it actually was very strange for me to get that, that concept. But I didn't anything of abuse or anything that would trigger me. I would leave my body. I wouldn't be present. So when you're saying that to Hayden, he wasn't wasn't being present, wasn't here.
Yeah.
Now he is here because he's in your body. So this is like awareness that you can go through some traumatic stuff, and so some stuff, but you can get through it too. And with Cooper's story, it's amazing. And I know with my story too, I'm with my body again, so they've got an amazing story to talk about.
What can we learn from these animals? Like
yeah,
what a
well,
gift.
it's the allowance. Like they don't judge, so they don't have a point of view. And like with Cooper and Lucy, they're so in their body. They are like, that's what animals. Like I know you do a class with talk to the animal. So before we go, could you give us 3 tools to the audience about if you have got a rescue dog or a rescue animal, or that your animal has been through a bit of trauma. What tools could actually assist you, the owner, and the animal?
So one of the first things I do for me is I destroy and uncreate all the projections, judgments, expectations, separations and rejections I have with what's occurred with the dog.
Yeah.
Because being an animal lover, it's like, this should never happen and this is terrible and people are awful. And it's like, if I have that, I'm actually impacting, I'm holding that point of view in place and not allowing the dog to have space to let go of its past.
Yeah.
So that one. The other one that I do when they first get here is I ask where their zone is. So every animal has a zone, like a sphere, like a proprioception. They know where they function in space. And a lot of these dogs, their zones are collapsed.
Yeah.
So if you imagine somebody being claustrophobic and being stuck in a lift, it's that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So I expand their zone, which is quite a simple process.
Is that like people too? Because I know every day I expand my zone, because I notice when it does collapse, that's when I just feel like I'm, cornered in. And I noticed you did say, Cooper does sometimes still feel like cornered in.
Yeah.
He can.
Yes.
So expanding your zone can actually assist with that too.
Yeah, it takes away that compression. It takes away that, oh God, just give me some space. Often when we, like you were saying, when we feel cornered, when we feel that we've got too much on or people want too much of us, it's like, just back off.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying when you first got here, just give him some space and let him come to you and let him, and as soon as he feels safe, he doesn't shut down.
Yeah.
Because there are times out on walks, it's pretty rare now, but we step it up each time we take them out. So this is one of the other tools. When we take them out for a walk, we ask them, we tune into where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
So obviously to begin with, we need somewhere where you're not taking them to the main street of the local town. You're taking them to the forest, you're taking them to the beach where there's space.
Yeah.
Where there's not people and noise and buses and jostling.
Yeah.
So we ask them, what works for you, and that's the other thing of asking them a question. Yeah. Most people think, well, I'm here to look after you. I'm the boss, and I'm here. I know best, rather than these dogs even more so need us to ask questions, because we might be with every intention thinking we're doing the right thing, and they're like, no, this isn't working. Like not letting them have their own space in the car. Just when you asked earlier if we could have Lucy in the back, I'm like, that's not honouring of him.
Yeah.
He knows this is his space. She knows that. He never goes to her space.
Yeah.
But she never comes to his.
So it's really cool. It is about space and honouring each other too. So.
Funny that.
Yeah, funny.
Imagine if we had people doing that for each other on the planet. How different it would be.
We're
going into one of my favourite topics about honouring. So could you talk a little bit about the 5 elements of intimacy?
Sure.
And then we'll finish up the show for today.
Yeah. So most people think that intimacy is, getting close to somebody and sharing your deepest, darkest parts of yourself, or having sex with somebody. I don't really want to have sex with my dogs.
Oh.
But so the 5 elements of intimacy are vulnerability, trust, allowance, gratitude, and honouring.
Yeah.
So if I apply this to the dogs, this is where Lucy, for me, has been the one that has shown me the most vulnerability. You know, we take her to the vets and she just stands, and very rare I get a dog that is just willing to stand there and let me lift up the paw and spread it apart and have a look through it, or do, you know, there's no reaction. She's willing to be totally vulnerable despite what she's been through.
Yeah.
Again,
So-
like, how willing you used to be vulnerable with. Because Ross before was like, you said you took Cooper to the vet, and Cooper had to go in the cage, so Ross went in there with him, and just totally had his back like that, which is awesome to hear.
Yeah, which is honouring.
Yeah.
It's honouring.
He knows that the dog's vulnerable. My husband is going into we know that to take Cooper to a medical situation could potentially bring stuff up because of his past, but because of the space he was being, and he understood, okay, I've formed this bond with this dog, I'm not going to leave him at the vet's and then just disappear.
Yeah.
He's willing to have that honouring of understanding what Cooper requires
Yeah.
as a being. Not, I'm putting him in the cage and being told what to do by the nurses. It's like, no, I have this dog's back. So there's the trust. He builds that bond of trust. So a lot of people think that trust is trusting somebody else. You have to have trust within yourself first to know what you know and to trust what you know. And so in that instance, if somebody had come up to us and said, no, you can't go in the back or you can't be in the cage or whatever, he'd have taken the dog away. He wouldn't have allowed that to occur.
Yeah.
So, and that also says to Cooper, look, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Where I can, I will have your back. I will listen to you. I'll recognise when you're vulnerable.
So that's the trust and that's the honouring. So where does the vulnerability comes into it?
Yeah, so what I was saying earlier about, I'm just going to use a slightly different example. Lucy's, this is what I love about dogs. They have no point of view about just going straight up to somebody and sticking their nose in your bits. You know, they want information. Dogs sniff you for information.
So the butt is one of the best things. Well, Lucy
and that's what Lucy
Cooper,
did.
they did me straight away. Came to me.
So the vulnerability with Lucy is I don't know how I'm going to describe this. She has a way of looking at you where there are no barriers in her universe. Like, you walk up to Lucy and did you feel threatened by her at all?
No.
Did you feel threatened by her at all?
No.
So there's just nothing in her universe that, even though they're savage and they've got muzzles and she's a greyhound, it's like you look at this being and instantly her vulnerability allows your vulnerability to come out.
Yeah.
She just looks at you and those eyes just melt you.
So you say that these dogs are such an invitation to be more, to be them, being them.
You've just given me a good awareness, Julie, with vulnerability. She has walked up to some people and they've just, had been uncomfortable, walked away, or pat and just disappeared. And you just gave me the awareness of they aren't comfortable being that vulnerable to let their barriers down, to connect with something that can actually, open them up, that can actually invite them to be present with that moment and just touch them, just be present. Yeah. So the last tool, I don't know if I did the third tool, fourth tool.
No.
When I touch,
We do an extra 3 tools
no,
now.
hang on, let's just go back and finish the 5 elements.
Vulnerability.
So we've got gratitude and an allowance.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to the 4th tool.
So gratitude would be, I'm grateful for the fact these dogs have actually found their way, have found their way to us. Yeah. They're not dead. They're not in a plastic bag thrown in the bottom of the river. They're not thrown out of the back of a car. Yeah. I'm grateful that how did he get out of a medical lab? Animals die in there.
Choice.
They don't, exactly. He was rescued. They decided to give him up. They decided to contact us, and that I'm grateful for that fact, that they have the ability, the people who do these experiments or whatever they use them for, they still have this level of kindness to go, I want to be able to give this dog another chance.
Yeah, that's
I'm
awesome.
grateful for that. So I'm grateful for anything these dogs give us, and I think every day we just take things for granted so much. Yeah. We're not grateful for the simplest of things. I'm grateful for the fact he's totally comfortable with Hayden being in his space, the camera, and Henry being here and you.
Yeah.
And that gratitude allows them to go, wow, I'm not wrong. You're not going to beat me up. You're not going to hurt me. Wow, I'll show you a little bit more of me. And the more grateful, the more they give.
Yeah.
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 And the allowance, well, I think that goes without.
Yeah.
I think we've covered that quite effectively.
Look at what's going on. We're filming in the back of a car.
Yeah.
Allowance.
They're an allowance of us being in their space. They're an
Yeah.
allowance. They have no judgment of us. That is allowance.
Yeah, that's allowance. Well, that's just an interesting point of view. So.
And I have no expectations of these dogs. You know, it's like I take them every day, every 10 seconds. I take them for who they are. I don't have an expectation that just because they've done something the day before, they're going to do the same again.
And you know, would you say when we're talking about allowance, would you say like Cooper's got allowance for him now?
Absolutely.
And Lucy,
Yeah.
Lucy's got a monkey. That's why I'm like, got a monkey on her. They've got allowance for them.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we hear that, you know, having allowance for animals and having allowance for other people. But if we don't have allowance for ourselves, it can be a struggle. And it definitely, well, it's not just it can be, it is a struggle to have allowance for everything else if you don't have it for yourself. And this is what Cooper has just shown me through the show, is that he has allowance. He, you know, when he needs his space or when he requires to get out, he'll be an allowance of getting out, you know, so...
And the other really cool thing with that is my husband's become a lot more in tune with the tiniest sign, the smallest sign that he's uncomfortable or he's crossed that threshold of being okay and then I'm going into panic now.
Yeah, wow.
He's fine-tuned that, and so Ross is really present with him now. The moment he feels it, either through the lead or he senses it with his body or he sees something physical, it's like, okay, we've lost him. We just need to create something that invites him back to being present with us.
I like that. Create something to invite to come back. So how many times, not just with animals, that you lose being present with you, and what if you could create that invitation that brings you back?
And it's often, you know, the opposite of what you think. You see a lot of people with animals that, and you know, they're being taught this, that you have to dominate the dog, you have to tell it what to do. And I just, you know, same with people. Okay, Hayden, I want you to do something. I'm going to bully you and force you into it, rather than, hey, could you, would you, can you?
Yeah.
If you've got,
what
you know,
can we do
Yeah.
together?
Yeah.
There's
I would really appreciate if you would do that right now. Yeah, it's our favourite. It's our favourite word we use to each other. We would not please. We would appreciate it.
Yeah. So allowance is everything, and having no expectation of these dogs and giving them total space for them to explore and unwind and defrag and just drop all the stuff that they've they've gone through. We have good days, we have bad days, and it's like
all of life comes to you with ease and glory.
And they
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, that's classic.
Plug in that.
This is what's left of one of one of the old toys. So
that's allowance. So the last tool, one more tool.
Yeah, so the other one, which is a really simple one, is when you go to connect with an animal, be present.
Yeah, be there.
Be gentle. I'm letting you know. And because his zone was so collapsed, all the dogs, they're very jumpy, they're very nervy, they're on edge all the time. So you go and plonk your hand on their body.
Oh my God.
It's a shock to them.
Yeah.
So I'm very conscious of, sometimes I'll just come into their energy field and just hang there and go, I'm here. And then I'll really gently, so I'm really present with every touch that I'm giving these animals.
And I like that, because that's how I know when my zone is collapsed. Like if I'm very jumpy or someone touches me and I jump, I just go, wow. Yeah. And so that's actually like gives me awareness to actually, expand my zone. So, animals can teach you so much, and that's what, it seems like they have. It's just amazing. And just within an hour, he's just shown me so much. So
cool. How does it get better?
Well, thank you for coming on the show. It's been
You're welcome.
amazing.
Thank you for inviting us all.
Yeah,
and
introducing and we got
people.
Ross in the background, and we got Lucy in the backseat.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you everyone, and I hope you really have enjoyed this episode of Missteps today. Um, it's been amazing, and Hayden, our first live show, and in a beautiful property.
Yeah.
Like, look at these trees; they are amazing.
What else can we create?
I know. So yeah. So we'll see you soon. We have a live show tomorrow. So we're going to be at a cafe in Noosa. We're looking for. We've got Graham Crosshill and we've got Rebecca Pulse.
We'll see.
So
I didn't click for it, obviously, yeah.
So don't know what we're going to be talking to them about, but just knowing them, things are just going to pop up, and we're going to talk about how, being the creator that you truly be. So we'll see you for tomorrow's show. Bye.
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 And that's another week done and another great episode. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as Hayden and Julie did. See you next episode.